Check. Okay.
Hi kids, and welcome to Jimmy's Puppet Show. In today's show, Jimmy finds out about free will.
If I strum chords with you.
Dum-de-dum-de-dum-doo. Halt! Ah! You young man.
Are you talking to me?
Yes, you. Do you ever wonder whether the decisions and actions you make are predestined for you, or that you have free will upon your life? No. Well, boy, I can take you back to a time where man did have this query.
What the fuck?
It's just a jump to the left.
During the Middle Ages, society strongly believed in superstition and fatalism. The powerful ruled while others struggled to survive. The theology during the times was mainly based on Catholicism, and it is widely practiced and prosperous religion. Many psychological works during this time were made by people of religion, such as Thomas Aquinas, a priest, Peter of Spain, later Pope John the 21st, and St. Augustine, a bishop who had major influence on the psychology of the medieval period.
St. Augustine lived from 354 to 430 AD and developed theories that there was human will and that God had predestined a life for each person, despite their personal beliefs. During his research, he became increasingly frustrated as the will went wrong. Humans want contradictory things, such as, I don't want to commit adultery, but I do it anyway. Inspired by the nature of sin, Augustine drew a new theory that there are two different kinds of will that influence the actions of humans. He believed that one kind of will was self-influenced, while the other will was directed towards God or spiritual destiny of life. The first will was that the sins in life in the personal opinions that occur during life were due to your own decisions. The second will states that your life, in some prospect, was already predestined by God to lead you to a certain place. These two wills, Augustine argued, were always in battle against each other, but formed a balance within us all. The self-division states that technically we are all separated and fighting against a part of ourselves. Augustine was influenced by Christians and the main beliefs of their religion, and then formed theories of emotions, memory, and dreams, which were illustrated in his well-known autobiography, Confessions. These theories were later known as common sense psychology. He felt strongly about sex between the two genders and thought the rules of life should remain to the two genders being together and no other way. In other terms, he thought that men should only sleep with women and women should only sleep with men after being married. Due to St. Augustine's beliefs and commitment to God, he believed that sex should be governed by the beliefs of nature and of Christianity. But despite these beliefs, Augustine preferred speaking of sex in less gendered terms, rather saying that sex was an interior state, not an act. This term discussed that sex was a way of the personal will, triumphing over the spiritual will. Due to St. Augustine's beliefs and commitment to God, he believed that sex should be governed by the beliefs of the nature of Christianity. But despite these beliefs, Augustine preferred speaking of sex in less gendered terms, rather saying that sex was an interior state, not an act. This term discussed that sex was a way of the personal will triumphing over the spiritual will. Augustine used the term negligence to state the act of sins or an act against the spiritual side of you. In Augustine's autobiography Confessions, he states the example of carnal or personal will by saying, while sitting at his table writing, his eyes strayed to a spider weaving a web. Rather than doing the work he was supposed to do, he now idly watches the spider. That's negligence. Rather than participating in the work one should do, one is distracted by the desires of the carnal self.
So this guy wrote two wills opposing himself?
Yes, Augustine did oppose himself.
and so did others, such as Pelagius.
Who's Pelagius?
Who is Pelagius, you ask? Well, moo. We don't quite know either. Much of his work has been lost, with only letters and excerpts of his work being kept and preserved by Augustine and other opposing bishops.
What we do know about Pelagius is that he opposed Augustine's doctrine of original sin, the same doctrine which was taken on by the Church. Pelagius believed that man's nature was free from Adam's sin. So in layman terms, you have the power to make your own decisions without being appointed by God. Pelagius accused Augustine for holding the Minuchianistic belief of going to hell for the sins you could not avoid and treating it like a Christian doctrine. Pelagius' philosophy originated from pagan religion, although Pelagius was known to have been of Catholic faith. In 411, his beliefs spread mainly around Carthage, bringing on a new religion, Pelagianism, which angered the Christian community. Pelagius quarrelled with many bishops, such as St. Augustine, and therefore fled to the Orient. Pelagius was accused with heresy by the Synod of Jerusalem, but to avoid punishment by the Catholic Church, he disclaimed his theories. Stop.